Hello and welcome back to JustinTV. I'm your host Justin. You may also know me as Wombi. And yes, I have recovered the password to my channel. That's definitely why I was gone for 8 months, and not because I just ran out of things to talk about. But in the time that I was gone, I learned a lot. I've been doing a lot, I've been working a lot, I'm still in college doing all that. And that's kind of why I haven't had the time to really sit down and record a lot of these. Now that finals are happening, I thought it was a great time, instead of actually doing my finals preparation, to instead, speedrun some Liberty Balls and, do some commentary. I wanted to mix it up a little bit because I've played a lot of multiplayer in MW3, and I'm thinking, for Black Ops, maybe we do some zombies and we mix in some multiplayer. I enjoy speedrunning these maps, specifically Liberty Falls. I think it's a very fun, short speedrun. I'm not the best at it. Nowhere close. I think with this run, I'll be like maybe 18th on the speedrun.com leaderboards. I'm not uploading this one particularly because I already have one that's uploaded at like a 21:37. I just don't want to waste the speedrun.com moderators' time to watch a run that's like 10-15 seconds faster. I just don't think it's worth it, and especially when, I'm gonna get a faster time in the future. Regardless, I've had a lot of time to listen to the people around me and actually take in what they've been saying to me all my life. Specifically, my dad. As a kid, I think a lot of people go through this. You just don't want to listen to what your parents have to say because, oh, you know better. It's your life, it's not theirs. And you grow up in a different time. And while that is true, we grow up in many different times comparatively to a lot of your parents, maybe. My parents, for sure. I mean, they grew up in like the 70s and 80s. So it's a huge generational gap with the introduction of smartphones compared to like my dad talking about how he had a phone in his car, and a lot of his ex-girlfriends, like brothers, like little siblings, thought it was like some of the coolest things that he could make phone calls in his car. It's the little things in life that change our lives drastically, and yet the big picture always seems the same, no matter what generation you're in. The big picture being, of course, living life comfortably and kind of free. A life where you don't have to worry about the food that's going to be on the table tomorrow, or if you're going to be able to pay your medical bills as you get older, or if you'll even be able to afford a house or rent as when you retire. Because this doesn't change for us, at least now. I mean, maybe you go back to the hunters and gatherers and it's just a completely different life, but for us as people, we can take advice from those older than us and those around us and learn from their mistakes. As human beings, it's in our nature to learn. Now, do I have like the answers to what mistakes you can learn from your parents or whatever? No, because everyone's life is different. You have to play the cards you're given. But to just like show you kind of what I mean, I'll take an example of something I've already brought up. My dad, when he was younger, as you could tell, was probably a car guy. He had a phone in his car in the 70s, and that was a revolutionary thing at the time. That's not something that's going to be cheap. That's going to cost you a pretty penny. And he did not come from a rich family. I remember him telling me a story about how he tried taking a girl to the movies and he had no dollars. He had no money. He essentially paid for their movie tickets in quarters. At the time, it's like $4 for a movie ticket. But could you imagine going to the movies and taking a girl paying with quarters? I think that's crazy. But it paints the picture of everything else around it. Obviously, he's young. He's not going to have a job where he's getting paid the big buco bucks, right? He's not going to be making like $100K a year. He very much worked for everything he owned, and he worked hard. I'm talking multiple jobs, maybe 3. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one side gig. He was also really young, and he's admitted this to me before, just out of the specific example, that he was a partier. He would stay partying until 3 in the morning and have to show up at work at 6 in the morning. He did it, but it was not healthy, and it shows that he was definitely spending over his means. What do I mean by spending over his means? He was able to afford all this stuff, surely, right? Well, yeah, he could afford all that stuff, but he was working 3 jobs, essentially, and working paycheck to paycheck. Now, keep in mind, that's with a really good economy. So someone today doing the same thing, it's not feasible. It won't work. So when I say I've actually been listening and learning from the people around me, I genuinely mean it in this critical thinking way. And not under the bias of it's my life, it's different, and I know better. Because the one thing that doesn't change is the big picture. And everyone has to live through life trying to go for that big picture. And so the advice they give you won't change. Now, of course, if their advice is to buy Bitcoin when it was $1 in 2013, that's just not possible. That's not a part of the analogy I'm creating at all, but I know someone would say something like that, so I have to mention that that was also kind of like an unfortunate like wires find there. I was kind of really hoping that I'd get on like the first and second. You know, I should probably start commentating about the actual gameplay mixed into like what I'm talking about too. You know, let me know if like you want a little bit more commentary about what I'm doing. Right here, I didn't shoot it earlier, so I have to shoot it like twice there so I can do this glitch. Anyways, what I was trying to say was don't be like, oh man, I wish I would have gambled my life savings on this one thing and it worked out for me. It's more so to look at what has happened in the past and how you can apply it to today. And in that example, yes, my dad was able to afford the cool car, go out every night with the boys. But the main thing he tells me he regrets about that time is that he never even looked into saving or even investing his money. While yes, he did invest it into his side gig, it's a little different. I mean more so investing in his future. Because when he went to get a living space, just rent an apartment or buy a house for my mom and him to live in when they met, he wasn't able to. Instead, they had to live in a small, cramped room in her parents' place. And the real message of it is, you know, live within your means and invest your money. You know, it can only do so much just sitting around or just spending it on useless junk that, you know, really doesn't matter in the scheme of things. Think about your future and how you can affect that today. I think that, you know, we go through life not even realizing that we really only have so much time on this earth, and we only have so much time while we're young that we can actually prepare for the future. And it compounds. I mean, can you tell that I'm a business major? But no, really, it does compound. So the sooner you start, the better you'll be off later. It is just a fact. Now, if you're young and you don't know like what to do, just look up what a Roth IRA is. Trust me, just do that. But there's a reason why they say that the rich get richer, and that's because it's compounding. If you have more, you can just make more. So don't get too caught up in trying to show off and, you know, buy all the expensive things, buy the Lamborghini and stuff like that, when you'll be happier and more comfortable later if you just save a little money and invest in your own future. Now, of course, beside that, right here, you'll see, I really don't know where to stand for this 8th Arella figure, so, you know, lose some time here. Nothing crazy. The real main time loss, I don't know if this is entirely true, but I think you can lower the spawns a little bit if you shoot the head on the top, because you really want to get that 8th Arella figure, you'll see me do it later, into the church right around this time and grab the canister, and then you'll come back and like the thing will be at like half HP or something like that. I could be completely wrong, because I just haven't done it enough. And at this point, I'm like starting to get a little worried, because it's like 20 seconds left and the portal has like no HP. I'm really not playing this that well. I think it's mainly because I'm used to having like the mini map, but I've been trying to play in the classic HUD just because I like it a little bit more. But without the mini map, it's a little hard to tell where the zombies are like spawning. You see here, I shoot the things. I'm like, and I lose because, you know, I stop looking at it, and that's like a huge time loss. That's at least a minute there. So this is gonna be like a 20-minute run. And now it's like a 21. I was really upset. I was actually really butthurt at this moment in time, but I was like, I'll still run it anyway. I have a chance to still PB here. And you know, this really just happened because like I just don't have enough knowledge on the game. Which reminds me of another solid piece of advice that my dad's told me, and he's tried to just drill into me throughout the years. It's something that's kind of universal and can be used in many aspects of life. Every time I talk to him, he says this phrase, and that is, in order to play the game, you have to know the rules. Now, you could just take this literally and just be like, well, yeah, Justin, like, obviously, you play baseball, you don't know how to play baseball, you can't play the game. And, like, yeah, that is a true statement. But the reason I choose baseball is because my dad was a real baseball head as a kid. In fact, you know, he tells me that he lives by this phrase because he was a big baseball guy as a kid. But he means that in every aspect of his life, that when he didn't know the quote-unquote rules, he couldn't get by in this situation. He failed, essentially. Take the simplest thing as just taxes, right? We all have to do them as we get older. In this game of life, the way to improve or quote-unquote get better at the game is to have more money. And just simply paying taxes and finding ways to lower the amount of taxes you're due, I guess, or, you know, you have to pay them in a legal way, obviously. And I'm not talking about just not paying your taxes. I mean, finding legal ways of being able to lower the amount of taxes you have to pay is knowing the rules and playing the game. You know, when Jeff Bezos is giving money to all these, you know, different random country. I accidentally bought Deadwire there. That was my fault. I don't know if they changed the position for it, but I kind of panic bought it. But when all these millionaires and billionaires find ways to lower their taxes legally, that is them just knowing the rules of the game and playing them. You can even take this into aspects of your work, your job. I know that, you know, I don't work a very tough job. I'm part-time and a college student, all right? I can't really be doing anything crazy yet, you know what I mean? I don't have many qualifications to get a lot of these specialized jobs anyways. But I work in a grocery store. Specifically, I work in the inventory management and the, like, price setting in for a lot of the items in the store. There are certain things that I have to do in a day at that place. And as long as I do all of those things and it's, you know, been done, I can just do whatever the fuck I want in my free time. If anyone says anything, I already did it. Or I will be doing it. I'm on a 15. And I think the funniest thing about, like, you know, saying that you're on a 15 is as long as they don't have access to actually checking, you can kind of just say that whenever you're not doing anything, and, like, you know, they just instantly stop giving a shit. Like, sometimes we'll get, like, super busy, and they'll need people, like, to cashier because they're incompetent and don't, like, you know, get enough people to actually do all the cashiers. So they'll just, like, ask random people. They'll ask me, and every single time they ask me, I just happen to be on break randomly. I don't know how that works, but, you know, it works that way. But because the rule is that, you know, they can't take you off of a break to go and do something, I play the game. I realistically, I get paid a lot to do nothing, I guess. Not really a lot. I don't get paid a lot. I work in a fucking grocery store. Let's be for real. Even though, like, my job isn't, like, the fucking, like, oh, I just stuck this shelf. You know what I mean? Like, I still don't get paid shit. I counteract the fact that I don't get paid shit by, you know, just not doing the work that's above and beyond. Like, if that place can run with me just, like fingering my asshole for, like, an hour, I'm gonna be fingering my asshole for an hour. The moral of the story is you just gotta know what in life you can do and, you know, not get in trouble for it. Not saying that you should be doing things that will get you in trouble. I'm just saying that, you know, just do things the right way, in a way that benefits you the best. Because when it's all said and done, you know, you get old enough, who do you have to rely on but yourself? The government's not just gonna give you enough money to live on by yourself. Your parents, you might even have to take care of them. Can't always financially support you. So it's important to learn and make mistakes while you're young, so that when you're older, you can play the game by the rules and play them in your favor. This is not me saying, you know, go and become a crypto bro and, like, get rug pulled out of like a lot of money, because that's never the answer. Don't do that. You're just gonna lose money. That's not a mistake. That's just being an idiot. Like, I shouldn't be saying this because like I've had my fair share of gambling ordeals, but just do not gamble, man. To like get like really real, like while I was gone, I got kind of into CS2, I guess now, gambling. It was really bad, but I do not do that anymore. God believe me. Now, that's not me being like, oh, do not gamble ever, or like, you know, you're just gonna screw yourself forever. You know, just have fun in life, but like, you know, like I was saying earlier, just do it within your means, you know? Do it so that you're not screwing yourself up later in the future. Let's say, like, you know, you're working like a decently paying entry-level job, and you're getting paid like 400 a week. Yo, check that. I fucked that fucking trick up. I was so pissed, and I was like, oh, I can't do it from there now. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take the walk of shame. I know it's probably faster to just, you know, wait it out and do it again, but I was like, maybe I'll get a zombie and I could just, you know, tomahawk them, and then, or combat axe in this game, and I could just like, you know, get the speed boost. But I didn't realize that there was only a mangler left alive, so the round just wouldn't end and therefore spawn new zombies. So I just kind of just took the time loss on here. It's probably like a good like 30 seconds of time. Like, let's say you're working like 3 days a week, and you're getting paid like $400 a week. Just an example. I don't know what the actual like numbers for that would be. Let's just go with that. And let's say you're saving $200. You're investing $200 out of that 400 a week. So you're left with $200. That's to you know, spend on all your miscellaneous expenses or whatever. Let's say, you know, you're smart and you're living at home while you're young, and you don't have to like pay that much rent a month. So, you know, you have some of that you save for like your monthly expenses. Like, let's say you pay for like a Spotify account and stuff like that, and the rest you spend on like food and gas. Your extra of that money that you don't spend, that's your fun money. You know what I mean? That, who cares if you lose some of that? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you only spent 150 bucks that week. You have 50 bucks to just have fun with. You know, over 2 weeks, it's 100 bucks. Let's just say, you know, you just gamble that 100 bucks. Who's gonna give a shit? You had fun with it, and that's what mattered. Do not, you know, leave this video being like, thinking, oh, you can only not have fun in your younger years. Have some fun, just do it responsibly, is what I'm saying. Also, I really was annoyed that I got dying wished there. I was pissed. I didn't use I tried to use my stim, and I ended up using it after the dying wish procced, and I didn't actually get my stim. I was really pissed with that. But like, it's all good. That's why I bought quick revive in the first place, because Jug would have been like kind of out of the way. So I didn't want to get that. I was kind of, I guess, unfortunate / like fortunate enough that like I didn't have enough salvage in the early game, so I ended up, you know, going through rounds a little bit like faster later than some other runners, but that could also just cost me like a good amount of time. Like, I had to wait around for like 100 salvage to craft the mangler cannon in the early game. That kind of sucked. And I didn't have enough points to just go into pack. Maybe I misplayed the parasite round by, you know, exiting the bowling alley. There's some like clear improvements that can be made to this run, not just like including the RNG. But I kind of wanted to like talk about it for like a little bit, just because I didn't mention it earlier because it was like the beginning of the video, and I was really like rambling hard about that. So the guy spawns in. I grab the Aetherella statue. This is like why this speedrun's so fun to me, because like what in any other game is like you're just turning into this invulnerable superhero like right at the end, and it's just so silly. I love it. But the biggest piece of advice my dad has given me was just always have something in the backup. You know, that oh shit fund where, let's just say everything hits the fan and you need like an extra $2,000 or something to, you know, fix something or pay some bill that you didn't realize that's been accumulating in the back for a while. And after that, you know, invest. He's been really pushing it to me now that I'm in my early 20s and I actually understand it and I have the money to actually do it. To do it and just take that first step, and it's, you know, it's investing. You're not trying to gamble with stocks, so you're not going to buy stuff and just sell it the next day, but there's a chance that your investments don't pay out in the long haul. You know, it is impossible to tell exactly what's going to happen in the next 30 years, but there's always safe bets you can make. And betting on America is a bet that I think if you live in America, you should take. I don't know if there's like an easier strategy to hit the amalgam here. So I just do the classic, you just run up and jump on it till, like, you know, you transform out. Here it gets like a little sketchy, but I realize I have 2 Aether Shrouds. You know, it's easy just to, I was wondering why I didn't switch weapons there. I was getting really annoyed. So, you know, I just get the free Pack-a-Punch on the Salient 4th, and then I was like, I got another Aether Shroud, pop it. I run in front of it because I wanted to be in front of it for when I reloaded, but it just turns around anyways and, you know, does its thing, walks off. So I lose a little bit of time with how I played this last section, but, you know, all in all, you can't really complain. It's a PB, so, like, we kind of take that. But I hope the advice that I've been able to share from my father has been helpful, or, you know, maybe it's just something that you already know, but you like to listen to it. Anyways, I'm glad that you've sat through and actually watched the video. I know I ramble a lot in this video. That's also because it's a longer one than I'm used to. I'm used to like 15-minute MP matches. But I kind of want to try doing this, and maybe we get some like longer topics, or we do multiple topics in a single video. Who knows? But Justin, and I'll see you next time, not next week. I can't guarantee when I'll do another one, but it'll be soon. Maybe a Citadel Day more speedrun, maybe some MP.